that time. Let me turn this down a little bit so you can hear me better. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. It's known around here as Twitter Tuesday because pretty much everything I get for the show is from Twitter. Although that's kind of every day because, you know, a lot of times you want up early. If you want to get the early scoop on a lot of news, that's where you get it because a lot of the big time news outlets put their stuff on there as they post it on their own site. So a lot of times I find stuff that's breaking. In fact, there's breaking news this morning that even during my setup when I was trying to find things to talk about that popped up on Twitter. It's like, oh, okay, I did not know that. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, that's enough about that. How about we play the intro and get this thing started? Johnny, get to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes, that is me. Uh-oh, I just realized, oh no, that was from this morning. I did it. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we mourn the loss of the greatest of late night entertainment, at least for a temporary time being, at least fresh and new, because there's a writer's strike. Yes, that was the most tragic thing I could think of to talk about this morning. Okay, for those of you who think it's a tragedy, I need you to think a little harder of something else that might be a tragedy. But it's a tragedy that I started the show late, so how about if I just try to jump into it a little quicker? But first, of course, Gunfox is over here trying to kill me. Dropped a couple Hamiltons in the tip jar. Thank you, Gunfox61, and that makes you the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day so far. In fact, we'll update that because you just dropped another one. And we'll have a couple things that Gunfox is going to be adding to the show. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. What are you doing to me? All right, let's get in. We'll get into the show. We'll get into that a little bit later. What is this? This is right that. Because we got some. Let's get the news that's the news that's right now, and we'll get to what's happening, things that are fresh in people's minds. Then we'll read a couple of Gunfox stories, which are always so enjoyable. And oh boy, oh God, no, good Lord. All right. So anyway, hi again. I'm Marty, your host. And I'd like to remind you that the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please consider helping out the show by just hitting a like button. It always helps. That's a start. And then also share the stream before the stream, during the stream, after the stream. If you're here waiting, no reason not to share it, like some of you have already done. In fact, we've had, let's see, who has sponsored the show already? That would be Banks and Tyler F. and Jimmy Das Hotep, Somnambul Nation. Thank you guys for tweeting out the show or retweeting my tweet. That's just as good. And then also, again, Gunfox, Streamlabs Superstar spot of the day so far. With the whole already up to $20. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And then, well, let's say hi to the people who are here. So first in the chat over on Rumble would be Mike Savage. Blarg gets the bell. Thank you very much. Also, hello to Advocatus Diabli, Jimmy Das Hotep, and Next Gen Troll, Papa Hotep. Good morning to you, brother Papa Hotep. And that's everybody. Next Gen Troll says, I am the Next Gen Troll. No matter how many phony, arbitrary, decided upon Harvard think tank types of generations come, I will always be the Next Gen Troll. Well, there you go. Way to claim your identity. That's very important these days. Apparently, identity is extremely important. Congratulations on finding an identity. That is that's commendable. Good morning also on the YouTube side. First in the chat, Rotten Corpse gets the bell. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. And good morning, James Colley, Mike Savage, blog, Avocados Diablo. I'm going to do it again. Also, good morning, Gunfox61, the fabulous administrator of the Dawg Knight Discord server. Thank you, sir, for your service. Good morning, also, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Fake news, that's Bert. My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony, Septus Wolf, Special Can Acid, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost, a.k.a. Tyler Alexander. JMK's in the house, Simon Wolfwood. Also, Tyler F. And did I say fake news expert already? I did not. Good morning. Oh, I did say it already. Well, there it is. Said it again. Let's see. Who else is here as I scroll down? Cigar Chopping Penguins in the house. Welcome back. Tex AG. Van is in the house. JB, what up? Good morning. I said Tex AG. Who am I missing? Anybody? I got everybody in that side so far. Okay, that's everybody on that side of the ledger. Please feel free to enjoy a few people. Oh my God. I'm reading something. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, I got distracted by something on my screen that I'm looking at it going, is this a troll? It's got to be a troll. It's got to be a troll. Anyway, let's get into the news, shall we? Because that's what we do here. We talk about the news. I am a news program. And look, for those of you who happen to come through my channel, that's weird the way to put it, and decide that I might be using some of your content because I'm a news show. I'm telling news and commentary, and that's what I do. So if you're going to put a what do they call it? The copyright claims to my production, I'm going to fight it, and I'll generally win. And I hope you take me to court because that'd be hilarious. So anyway, can you tell I'm a little salty about something this morning? Anyway, let's talk about what's happening in the world first. Now this is actually very, very breaking just this morning. Apparently, what is his name? Officer Tu Tao, is that his name? Let's see. Yeah, Tu Tao has been found guilty in the George Floyd case. Now, oh shoot, I didn't do this yet. Let's fix that. There we go. This is just breaking news. Tu Tao, one of the officers who was holding the crowd back during the George Floyd incident. They call it George Floyd's murder. Has been convicted of aiding and abetting manslaughter. And I'm in the wowed part in here. Look, I don't know. It's assuming he knows that someone's attempting to kill somebody. I don't know. But anyway, he's been found guilty. And like I said, I've always said, the other officer, what the hell was the other officer's name? Derek Chauvin. I always felt that he should have been found guilty of manslaughter, whatever degree. The other two charges I'm skeptical of, okay? But clearly his job as a police officer is to bring in a suspect alive so they can go through the court system. And his lack of situational awareness, especially as one training two other officers at the time, had failed. And so he should have recognized what was happening and done something to avert it. Now, it doesn't mean that George Floyd wouldn't have died anyway. And the circumstances, very strange, George Floyd not struggling, not wanting to go into the car, wanting to be, just wanted to lay down. And so they're restraining him. Their job is to restrain the suspect, but not to lose situational awareness and not realize that your suspect's dying right underneath your feet. And so I can understand why Derek Chauvin should have been guilty of at least even manslaughter while whatever. Now the other officer, I'm not so sure. Maybe the officer should. What do they expect the other officer to do? Go beat the shit out of Derek Chauvin? I don't know. Anyway, the Minnesota judge found former police officer Tu Tao guilty of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter for his role in the May 2020 killing of George Floyd, according to court documents filed Monday. In a 177-page verdict, Judge Peter Cahill wrote that Tao actively encouraged his 3 colleagues' dangerous prone restraint of Floyd, contrary to his training that the positioning could cause fatal asphyxia. That's wild. That's wild to me. Like the bystanders, Tao could see Floyd's life slowly ebbing away as the restraint continued. Now, I'm so curious. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to have situational awareness when the crowd is threatening you and getting aggressive. True, that is true, but that's what Tao's job was, to handle the crowd. George Floyd's the trainer there. Derek Chauvin's the trainer there. But anyway, I don't understand this. Is this, what is this guy focusing on? But you know what? I'm not gonna. It's just what it is. Hello, Jay Pylon. What's up? Good morning. And also, somebody else came in. I missed. Renee Mayette. Hello, my friend. So, yeah, a dangerous prone restraint of Freud. Well, contrary to his training that the position could cause fatal asphyxia. Well, does his training say that? I don't know. I guess there's more information the judge has than me, but like the bystanders, Tao could see Floyd's life slowly ebbing away. Cahill wrote in the verdict, yet Tao made a conscious decision to actively participate in Floyd's death. Actively participate in Floyd's death. That's a weird way to put it too. That's a way to put weird. What do you mean he actively participated in Floyd's death? He passively was keeping the crowd away, or that's what he was active. I don't know, man. It's wild. The decision marks the end of a series of state and federal trials for 4 former officers involved in Floyd's death, a killing captured on video that set off worldwide protests objecting to police violence against black people. The conviction of Total is historic, and the right outcome. Historic? Oh, this is Keith Ellison. I can't stand Keith Ellison. But anyway, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, the lead prosecutor of Floyd's murder, said in a statement, "It brings one more measure of accountability in the tragic death of George Floyd. Accountability is not justice, but a step on the road to justice." Derek Chauvin, Thomas Lane, J. Alexander, King, and Tao were fired and arrested for their actions or lack thereof in May 2020 as Chauvin pressed his knee into the floor. Anyway, you know the rest of the story. Chauvin was found guilty for second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Now, it's interesting because let's see, which one is it? I think it's the second-degree unintentional murder. There's Minnesota Supreme Court precedent as to why that will be overturned. Now, I don't know about the third-degree murder, the second-degree manslaughter, but the second-degree unintentional murder. In another case, the Minnesota Supreme Court turned over, reversed another decision on that case because it was there's some specifics to it that do not fit the Derek Chauvin case at all. So anyway, that's interesting. So anyway, so that's the breaking news. Lots of people talking about that on Twitter. The AP also has the same article, roughly. Aiding and abetting manslaughter. That's wild. That's wild. Anyway, let's move on. Other things happen in the news. Now, this is CNN. Published this morning. Now, I'm dumbfounded that they even wrote this article. Why a U.S. recession is probably coming. CNN, during the greatest economy ever, according to Joseph Rahim Biden. Want to know what the future holds for the U.S. economy? You'll have to consult your crystal ball, but if that doesn't work, Jake Jolly, head of investment analysis at BNY Mellon Investment Management, has outlined 3 possible scenarios, each considering the impact of the banking crisis. Oh, you guys noticed the banking crisis, huh? You noticed. The stickiness of inflation. You notice that too. You don't talk a whole hell of a lot about it. I bet it'll come up in the presidential campaigns. And the path of rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. which is probably, yeah, coming. I hear you. I hear you, Afghanis Diabli. Same question. What do you mean coming? Each year, Jolly and his team debate scenarios for the economy going forward. Once they come into agreement on what could happen, they aggregate and build charts that show the balance of risk across economic variables and financial metrics through a combination of their own subjective views, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'm just surprised they even put this article in here. I am shocked. Gunfox dropping another Hamilton. Oh my gosh. Way to go. Oh, you were already the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor today, but you even upped the ante a little bit. Hey, which is fine because I forgot to tell you. Laura had her identity stolen. Well, not her entire identity, but certainly one of her cash cards, credit cards, whatever. And some douchebag basically cleaned out one of our bigger accounts that we pay bills out of. It's like using that card. And that was fucked up. It's a tough thing. We got a hold of the bank, and they're doing their investigation now. But what a pain in the ass that is. But yes, I think that when they tried to spend $1,000 at Mills Fleet Farm, and that one got declined, is when she finally got an alert from Wells Fargo, and then she's looking at the account and going, oh shit, I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that. I wasn't in California. I didn't buy anything in California. I didn't buy this. I didn't buy that. So anyway, she called the bank and whatever. So anyway, back to this. So anyway, look, if you want to read about why the U.S. recession is probably coming, that article is going to be in the links at the end of the show, where I always put everything that I read, or even if I don't get to it, I put it in the links. Called a one-tab link, third paragraph in the description. I also put it in the chat at the end of the show because that's when I update it in case I opened up anything new. And everything we did will be on a single website where you can click that link and it'll go there and everything will be there in order. So there you go. Good morning, Steph Colonel. Good morning, Hig from Tennessee. What are you doing in Tennessee? Tennessee? And Rick Ashbringer's in the house. Good morning. One of my best friends is moving to Tennessee. He's moving to Nashville. Just thought about that. Payback is best served cold. What is this you sent me? Let's find, oh my goodness, what is this? Oh, I saw this the other day, or maybe it was yesterday I saw this. Thank you, Good Fox. More. Y'all can just wait for that one. All right, I'm going to go quickly because I got a lot on the plate today. Okay, other things trending. Gordon Lightfoot is trending. Wait a minute. Gordon Lightfoot is trending. The legendary Canadian singer-songwriter has passed away. Yes, that's the after. Before, there's the before, and here's the after. He's clearly dead. Gordon Lightfoot, Canadian singer-songwriter, famous for songs like the Edmund Fitzgerald, which is also trending. And what's the one? If you could read my line, love. That song. What's that song called? That's a great, I think that was his greatest song, and I don't even know the name of it. Anyway, he has passed away. Rest in peace, Gordon Lightfoot. Jake Tapper says Canadian folk music icon Gordon Lightfoot dead at 84 years old. Edmund Fitzgerald and Sundown. Sundown was a good song too. Sundown, you never take care. Whatever, I don't know the words. But yeah, so here's a little Gordon Lightfoot.
With chains upon my feet.
Oh, this is the song.
You know that ghost is me.
I can't get it back, something like that. Hello, HB Lovecraft. All right, I'm going to stop right there just so I don't get I might still get it anyway, but we'll see. So, moving on, let's see, what else is trending? Oh, and Edmund Fitzgerald is trending also because of that. And here's the CNN article. Canadian singer-songwriter Gordon Lightfoot dies at 84. Canadian singer-songwriter whose enduring folk hits include The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald and Sundown died Monday. His spokesman told CNN on he was 84 years old. He died of natural causes at 7:30 p.m. in Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. Spokesman Victoria Lord said his death comes less than a month after he canceled his 2023 U.S. and Canadian concert schedule on April 11th. Well, good thing he did that. The cancellation was due to health-related issues, according to a Facebook post. He found success in the U.S. pop charts in 1970 with the song "If You Could Read My Mind." Well, that's the name of the song, too. Oh my God, you guys are brutal. White Cat Stevens, why couldn't it be Neil Young? Oh my goodness. Good morning, Damian Gershwin, by the way. He found success in the U.S., blah, 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 with You Can Read My Mind. That track also earned the artist his second of 4 Grammy nominations, that one for the Best Male Pop Performance. His 1976 ballad about the sinking of the Great Lakes cargo ship, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, reached number 2 on the Billboard charts. Other hits included Carefree Highway. Carefree Highway. Yeah, that song. Anyway, and by the way, if you're ever in Minnesota, you can travel to Duluth, Minnesota, and there's actually a little exhibit in there's a Great Lakes Maritime Museum in Duluth, Minnesota, and they have one of the life rafts from the Edmund Fitzgerald in that museum. So interesting, because they did find some things that happened just north of Duluth. I think almost north of Two Harbors, Minnesota, is where the Edmund Fitzgerald sang, and that's the song's about. All right, let's move on. Also, a couple trending. The writer's strike. Oh God, I am so heartbroken. Yes, that's why I have this thumbnail today. The writer's strike. Oh my gosh, this is a tragedy in Hollywood. The late night show's hardest hit. It's so sad. The Hollywood writers go on strike, and late night talk shows hardest hit, bringing many productions on many television shows to a halt. More than 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America are set to go on strike Tuesday, which they did, morning for the first time since 2007, a move that could bring an immediate halt to production of many television shows and possibly to delay the start of new seasons of others later this year. Look, what's fascinating about this is oh wait, I gotta sneeze. Am I gonna be able to hold it? Maybe I can get away. Laura Stanhope, what's up? Wait, Hig just caught a weekend ban on Twitter. Oh no. A week-long ban. Oh no. Sorry. Anyway, so let's see. Though we negotiated intent on making a fair deal, the studio's responses to our proposals have been wholly insufficient given the existential crisis writers are facing, said a statement from union leadership. They have closed the doors on their labor force and opened the door to writing as an entirely freelance profession. No such deal could ever be contemplated by this membership. While union members would be on strike as of 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday, the WGA, the Writers Guild Association of America, tweeted that it would not set up picket lines until Tuesday afternoon. Well, thank God for that. I mean, you wouldn't want, Jimmy not to be able to get to his trailer. And that could be Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy. What's the other Jimmy? What's his name? The other Jimmy Fallon. Whichever Jimmy. Or, this jackhole, this guy, Stephen, whatever, Colbert. Who cares? Anyway, the strike comes at a time when both sides are feeling financial pain. Many media and tech companies and production shows that use writers have seen drops in their stock price, prompting deep cost cutting, including layoffs. So, oh my gosh, management side of negotiations is represented by an alliance of motion picture and television producers, AMPTP, which represents Amazon, Apple, CBS, Disney, NBC Universal, Netflix, Paramount Global, Sony, and this is CNN's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery. But the writers, many of whom can't support themselves with writing alone, are suffering from reduced job opportunities and the loss of some sources of income due to an industry shift from traditional broadcast and cable programming to streaming. Okay, what? So they're going to have to get on with the times. Now, with the beauty of this show, I don't have any writers. Can you tell? Anyway, so that sets forth the tragedy. Yes, late night shows to shut down immediately after Writers Guild strike called. You mean these guys here? They have writers? Somebody writes that crap? I can't believe it. Hey, easy there, Avocados Diablo. I see you. Right here, man. Right here. Anyway, these guys have writers. Holy shit. That's amazing. All right. Let's get into some news now. First, we'll just jump on to what Avocados Diablo sent me. Let's see. Oh. Okay, this is from MSNBC. So, if you're familiar with Zooey Zephyr, I know I said Zooey, it's probably Zoe, but it's spelled Zooey. Zooey Zephyr is the transgender gal in Montana who sparked a protest and had some protesters come in. She led a protest and also said some nasty stuff about people saying that the legislature would be responsible for the deaths of many and have blood on their hands, and the legislature the Republicans got a little salty with her, right? And so the speaker, rather than censure her, that she just wouldn't call on her for debate, okay? And so now she's mad, and then she did some kind of protest, and they've not allow her in the chambers. They'll allow her to do her voting or whatever, but they're not even allow her in the chambers, right? And her, him, whatever you want to call him or it. So Cindy's shadow band. Oh, you guys are just batting 1,000, Tig. So anyway, so now she's going to file a lawsuit about her silencing. And this is an opinion article by MSNBC. Zooey Zephyr and the ACLU were right to sue over her silencing, but the lawsuit filed against the Montana Speaker of the House seems unlikely to convince a judge to overturn her censure. Yeah, wow. Like, you mean you can't? Well, anyway, because my thought on this, well, this is not her speaking on the corner, and she can criticize them all she wants. Doesn't mean that she has to be able to do it from the floor of the House. No, he called that fucker. He is a man. Okay. Look, here's the thing. I just use pronouns as a means of having people know what I'm talking about. So if you know what I'm talking about, even though this person is a male, yes, that is keys. I'm going to end up reading in the story constantly using she. I'm just going to do it because it makes it simple. I don't need to complicate pronouns by having to change for everyone that I'm talking about. But look, it's my choice of how I use my language and my dialect. And if I choose to call some hairy, bearded man in a dress, man and he and whatever, that's what I'm going to do, because most people are going to understand who the hell I'm talking about. And it's just a simplified language. That's the only purpose of pronouns. The only purpose of pronouns is so you're not repetitive. Okay? That's the only reason they kind of came up with pronouns. And so when you use pronouns, you're just doing it so you're not repetitive. So I'm not saying Zooey, Zooey, okay? And so when people say, oh, well, I have my special pronouns, especially here, let me go on a rant here. Especially these idiots who want to talk about neo-pronouns, for example, or even the they, them pronouns. That does not simplify the language for the person that I'm talking to. If I say they, them, they're looking, and I'm talking about just a specific person, they're wondering, wait a minute, I don't see multiple people that you're talking about. I'm talking about one person, so I usually hear him singular. Now, if it's unknown, it could be, and they say, oh, well, we've been using the singular they, them for thousands of years. No, we haven't, actually. See, traditionally, okay, and really this is the they for the unknown used to be pretty rare, because you would say, if you're guessing, you'd say him, right? But people got mad because, well, what if it's a her? Well, so then you would say him or her, but that got a little tedious too, because it's either him or her. That'd be a little tedious too. So people would say they just because there's more than one possibility, because people were saying, oh, well, you should not automatically think it's a he. Okay, so that in the 70s and 80s, became kind of a trend too, where people would say they, because you're not allowed to say, well, if somebody built this house here and I'm pretty sure he nailed in this nail. Well, what if it was a woman who nailed in this nail? Well, fuck you. I'm just saying the person who did the nail is a person. And I said he because it's more likely 99 times out of 100 to be a he. But fine. Okay. So the person who hit this nail, they probably hit the nail really hard. And so now you're doing that to make it so that, because, there's more than one possibility. But there was never a actual singular they or them. Okay, so the idea that they've been using singular they, them for thousands of years. No, they never meant they, them to refer to an individual person or one single possibility that that is known. They, them was for the unknown, because some of you assholes are upset if I just say, well, the person who made that dress, she's probably, pretty good at sewing. Well, how do you know it was a she? Well, fuck you. Okay, they, that person, the possibility of he or him. Rant complete. Let's talk about Zooey now. So Zoe, Zephyr, and the ACLU. Oh, now when I see Zooey, oh my God, this happens to be, I don't know. They apparently, state representative, continued fight for rights. This is 8 minutes long. I'm not listening to that shit. Republican lawmakers in Montana probably thought they were pretty slick. Okay, this is clearly an opinion piece. When pretty slick when crafting their punishment against Representative Zoe Ziffer last week. In a better world, hers would have been one of the most critical voices in the State House's debate of SB 99, a bill that bars gender-affirming health care for transgender minors. As the first trans Montanan elected to the legislative body, she knows better than any of the other members the ways that the bill would harm the people it was targeting in the name of protecting them. Really, children? Oh, so this person knows the science and medical permanence of using certain care on children. Fantastic, I'm sure. Instead, Zephyr was silenced. Silence! During her deliberations over the bill, which was signed into law last week. Her offense, saying that the bill's backers would have blood on their hands. No, it wasn't the only thing she said. There was more, but whatever. They took offense to it. She said that they would be killing people. Anyway, a reference to the oh, here we go. Do reference to the documented link between access to gender-affirming care and lower suicide rates. That is false. I wonder what they linked to for this. What did they link to for this? That is completely false. There is no study that proves it. Oh. LGBTQ advocates and medical professionals respond to conservative study linking gender-affirming care to greater risk of youth suicide. Okay, now that's just the opposite. Now, that's when that's when they say isn't true. But there's also no evidence that it lessens the suicide rate. In fact, the rate of self-endings is the same for people who've gone through gender-affirming care. Still around 40%, but the ideation is about 8 to 9 years later after gender-affirming care. And showing support for protesters who demanded she be allowed to speak. Oh, you mean she was yelling in the House floor with the protesters as opposed to being a state representative? Interesting. For the crime of accurately framing the bill's terrible consequences, okay? Again, you have no evidence. There's more evidence of harm than good. The House passed a resolution to keep Zephyr from debating any bill for the rest of the legislative sentence. An emergency lawsuit filed Monday on behalf of her and her constituents hopes to overturn that decision, though I agree with the lawsuit itself and the points it makes about the deliberate targeting of Zephyr as a trans woman. No, as a legislator. Okay? Any legislator would probably go through this same process, but just happens to be a trans woman who believes probably that that she can say whatever the hell she wants, whatever she wants. And, that just doesn't always work that way. I can't say I'm hopeful that the judge will concur. Crucially, the resolution punishing Zephyr determined that she will no longer be admitted to this floor, house anteroom, or house gallery for the remainder of the session. That might seem like a long time, but it isn't. That's part of why Zephyr's punishment is so subtly cruel. Oh, it's so cruel. Oh. The Montana's part-time legislature works for only 90 days in odd number years. The current session is scheduled to end Friday, May 5th. Wow, another 3 days. Wow, wait a minute. Montana's part-time legislature works for only 90 days in odd number. Gosh, bring that back to the U.S. government. We need to all be Montana. They work 90 days in odd number years. That's the way all big ass government should be. They should be year-round careers. Hello, Man Squatch. How you doing? That's awesome. Anyway, meaning that even though Zoe's term doesn't expire until next year, being blocked from taking part in the work that's being done right now means she will be unable to help shape or offer her constituents' views on the final bills of the session, including the state budget. It was no mark of altruism that Zephyr is still permitted to vote on bills, thanks to rules still in place as a part of the COVID response. Members of the Montana House are allowed to vote remotely with their caucus leader's permission. Blocking this ability would have been even a clearer case of disenfranchisement of her voters, but they didn't. So you just want to get some sympathy points. The same goes for expelling her altogether. After all, they'd likely seen the backlash against the move to expel the Tennessee Three last month and wanted to avoid a similar media firestorm. They also likely knew that under the Montana state constitution, wait a minute. So they might have just realized under the Montana state constitution, any vacancy triggers a special election, an expensive and cumbersome process that would keep the spotlight on the whole affair and could easily have ended with Zephyr being reelected. Instead, Montana GOP leaders chose to keep her in office, but metaphorically gagged. And because campaigns to single her out relied on anti-trans sentiment, that's what it had to be, they likely felt they had strong odds to get away with it in the conservative state. That confidence is reflected in the vote to censure Zephyr, which required a 2/3 majority to pass. It did so easily along party lines, as the GOP held a supermajority in the state house since 2021. So, are you arguing? I don't know what this person is. Are you arguing against democracy now? Huh? Why do you hate democracy? I don't know. Hello, GDSB. What's up? And then that brings us to the lawsuit the ALCU of Montana and others filed on behalf of Zephyr and 4 of her constituents. It asked for a temporary injunction against the censure while the case plays out, allowing Zephyr to take part in the final days of the session. The lawsuit's points are well made, especially that her supposed breach of decorum was milder than other actions from fellow legislators who didn't receive any punishment at all. The argument is that silencing Zephyr, the House infringed upon her right to free speech under the Montana Constitution, discriminated on the basis of her political alignment with transgender rights. It further argues that the House violated her constitutional rights to equal access, protections under the law, and to petition the government and self-governance. The latter of those claims may wind up being more compelling, as there is the immediate harm that the court could rule on given the closing window for participation. But the biggest potential problem I can see is something that has also played out at the federal level. Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution states that each House of Congress may determine the rules of its proceedings. Over the years, that clause has been invoked in numerous cases to find that the House and Senate processes and procedures are beyond the reach of the courts. Interesting. Similarly, in Montana, the state constitution notes that each house may expel or punish a member for good cause shown with the concurrence of 2/3 of all its members. So, it's part of the democracy in Montana to be able to do this. So anyway, that's interesting, but obviously someone who is highly in favor of Miss Zoe Zephyr. Next, Gunfox. I may never get through this show. What is this? Crap. Oh, yeah, this one. I knew about this one too. So apparently, IRS is hiring armed agents willing to use deadly force, surveillance in all 50 states, and 350 jobs are available. Interesting. Anti-Bobbity. Hello, Uncle Bobbity, with your new name or temporary name. Probably got in trouble. Nice to see you. The Internal Revenue Service is hiring armed special agents who are willing to use deadly force and conduct surveillance in all 50 states and U.S. territories. According to a job posting on the agency website, the special agents will be part of a criminal investigation division described as the agency's law enforcement branch, which is designed to combine accounting skills with law enforcement skills to investigate financial crimes. That just sounds hilarious to me. Well, you need to be able to kill people and add up some numbers for us. The major duties of the job include willingness to participate in dangerous assignments. And life-threatening situations. Carry a firearm, must be prepared to protect him or herself and others from physical attacks at any time and without warning, and use firearms in life-threatening situations. Okay, I can understand it. Look, come on. You go try to do some business on a drug dealer, and it's just like they might shoot at your ass. So I can understand where you should be able to protect yourself at any time and must be willing to use force up to and including the use of deadly force. But what I really see is raids. I see raids on people they don't like with guns drawn, like they did with, what's the Roger Stone and Mar-a-Lago and that Catholic guy who pushed some guy who was harassing his son, and they came in with guns and shit. It's the IRS is gonna be just like it. Anyway, that's frightening. It tells a little more there, but thank you, Gun Fox, for that. That doozy. All right, let's see what else Gun Fox sent me here. Let me look first before I do something. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is another one. So, is Lori Lightfoot finishing out her term or something? When did this happen? It's let's see. Oh, this is one of the. I don't know why. I have no idea why Newsbreak doesn't scroll when I scroll. But here's Lori Lightfoot has asked Greg Abbott to stop sending migrants to Chicago, saying we are completely tapped out. Oh, really? Can you imagine what it's like in Texas if you're completely tapped out? Of course, Chicago's kind of fucked up. Anyway, is it former Chicago mayor yet? Outgoing. So apparently she hasn't out yet. Outgoing Chicago mayor Lori Lightfoot took to CNN in order to once again request that Texas Governor Greg Abbott stop sending immigrants to the Windy City. I thought the Windy City was a sanctuary city. I can't remember. Is Chicago, anyone from Chicago? Chicago Mike, are you here? Is Chicago a sanctuary city? Anyway, she sent Abbott a letter over the weekend to condemn his policy of relocating migrants to so many so-called sanctuary cities. Oh, which she called a dangerous and inhumane action. Really, it's dangerous and inhumane to send someone who is poor and tired and has walked thousands of miles to be in the United States, and you're a sanctuary city, and it's dangerous and inhumane to send them to a sanctuary city? Sanctuary, that sounds like Logan's Run. They were looking for sanctuary, right? They were looking for a place like where angels sing and stuff, and you get free food, and everyone's happy, and all their kids get a new bicycle. That sounds like pretty good deal, right? You're a sanctuary city. Anyway, here's the portion of the letter that they put in the article, and I'm going to stop right there. Chicago. Hang on a second. Give me one moment, please. I apologize. I have to do one thing before I read this. Hang on. Here, hang on. I'm almost there. Almost. Wait. Oh shoot. Help me out here. Oh no, it's not doing it. Well, here, let's here we go. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay. Chicago is a welcoming city, and we collaborate with county, state, and community partners to rise to this challenge. But your lack of consideration or coordination in an attempt to cause chaos and score political points has resulted in a critical tipping point in our ability to receive individuals and families in a safe, orderly, and dignified way. We simply have no more shelter spaces or resources to accommodate an increase of individuals at this level with little coordination or care. That does not pose a risk to them or others. I know by your actions that you either do not see or do not care. She should have said nor, but anyway. About the trauma these migrants have already faced and continue to suffer under the humanitarian crisis you have created. Excuse me, that would be the Biden administration. But I beseech you anyway, treat these individuals with the respect and the dignity that they deserve. To tell them to go to Chicago or to inhumanely bus them there, here, is an inviolable and misleading choice. Okay, so while critics, who's the story? Who's the main writer of this story? Where did this story come from? Chicago 7, ABC Chicago 7. While critics have spoken out against Abbott's stunt of busing immigrants to Democrat runs, well, what about when Joe Biden does it? Joe Biden's been sending them to Florida and the East Coast and Charlotte, North Carolina, and all these places. But when Abbott does it, it's the end of the world as we know it. Motherfuckers. His administration has defended its actions as a means of generating political pressure for more action on border security. Yeah. When Lightfoot discussed this on This is CNN this morning, she said she hadn't heard back from Abbott's administration. Frankly, I didn't expect to hear anything back. I felt like it was important once again to try to engage the governor, but also let him know that what his policies and practices are doing to cities like Chicago. Imagine what these practices by the Biden administration at the border are doing to cities all around Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Good God, woman, you are just your lack of, I wouldn't say self-awareness, but hello, Maddie's in the house. I didn't even see you drop in, Maddie. How you doing? Come on now. When Caitlin Collins pressed Lightfoot on Abbott's reasoning, the mayor stood by her point that several governors refused to engage with her while sending migrants with serious medical conditions into her city. Oh, so now migrants with serious medical conditions. Oh, see, is that how you try to make it sound worse? So if we don't put the humanity of these migrants front and center, I understand, and I am solely compassionate to the fact that the borders are themselves really overrun. Oh, well, thank you for noticing. Way to go. But you don't solve the problem by simply sticking people on buses to a city that they didn't ask to. How do you know? They heard Chicago and they signed up. They said, hell yeah, I'll go to Chicago. That's a sanctuary city. My kid's going to get a bicycle. Come on, man. All right, let's move on. Gun Fox, you did good. You done damn good this morning. Moving on to some stuff that I wanted to talk about. Karine Jean-Pierre, also known as Latrine Jean-Pierre. Hello, Jack Gunsky. What's happening? I see you over there on Rumble. Karine Jean-Pierre is trending, and it just happens to be about this very subject because she said something exceedingly brilliant. As she often does. Here's Latrine Jean-Pierre talking about immigration. This is special. Listen to this.
He has tools that he's used to make sure that we do this. We actually deal with the immigration system in a humane way.
Okay.
In a
Wait.
way.
See? Now, why would they want to get on a bus if it was already in a humane way? They're getting on a bus to Chicago, but this isn't about Chicago. This is about immigration in general. Hell, I already said that.
That actually deals with what we're seeing at the border.
Okay.
And that's why you've seen the parolee program be so successful.
Oh, really?
When it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of the actions that this president has taken. He has.
What? Wait, what? What? What did she just say? That what? Wait, let me move. Let me just play back a few seconds back of what she just said. I just want to make sure I heard her correctly. I want to make sure I heard her correctly.
By more than 90%. And
Wait, what 90%?
When it comes to illegal migration, you've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of.
Whoa! What? Illegal immigration has come down by more than 90%. By more that. Now. Now it's interesting because here's Town Hall posted this, right? And it got one of those little community note things that they put on Twitter now. And here it is. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. The number of migrants crossing the U.S. southern border has hit a 20-year record high. U.S. border officials reported a 25% jump in migrant crossings in March. So I'm confused. I'm confused as to what she means by it's come down by 90%. Lord Almighty, I am begging to differ, as if begging to differ were my career. Good morning, Shrapnel. What's up? Good. Hello, Special Can Acid. Holy moly. By the way, thank you. A couple more people. Simon Wolfwood, Midnight Cruise Shift Supervisor, a.k.a. Ty Alexander, Jimmy Dazhotep, retweeting the show, putting the show out for people to know it's there. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. Next. Let's see. What's this? All right. Now, let's get into a whole bunch of gender stuff going on. Now, Governor Stitt of Oklahoma has signed into law a ban on gender transition surgeries and hormone therapies for minors in the state of Oklahoma, much to the chagrin of many of the activists who are on the other side of this. Governor Stitt signed SB 613 into law today, banning all irreversible gender transition surgeries and hormones therapies for children under the 18. Cheers for Governor Stitt. Last year, I called for a statewide ban on all irreversible gender transition surgeries and hormone therapies on minors. I am thrilled to sign this into law today to protect our kids. We cannot turn a blind eye to what is happening across our nation, and as governor, I am proud to stand for what's right and ban life-altering transition surgery on children in the state of Oklahoma. Now, I put this is from his office, right? So that what he said and so on and so forth. But then I'm going to go to This Is CNN because here's notice the difference in language already. So Oklahoma governor signs legislation banning gender affirming care for minors. Now he called it irreversible gender transition surgeries and hormone therapies. Okay, two different things. Affirming sounds so nice and pleasant, where he just calls it what it is, right? Oklahoma Governor Keith Stitt signed a bill into law Monday banning gender-affirming care for minors, with the possibility of a felony charge for healthcare professionals who provide it. Senate Bill 613 bars healthcare professionals providing gender-affirming care to those under the age of 18. And again, it's funny because they don't even use the language of the bill to describe it, from providing gender-affirming care to those under the age of 18 in the form of surgeries, puberty-blocking medications, and hormone treatments. The healthcare provider accused of violating the new law could face felony charges. The ban takes effect immediately under an emergency clause and leaves certain exemptions in minors currently receiving treatment. The Republican governor's approval of the measure makes Oklahoma the latest state seeking to restrict access to health care services for transgender youth. Now, isn't that amazing how they like to use that phrase? No, not health care services for transgender youth, because all the other health care services they certainly have access to. Okay? Holy shit. I hate these people. The last quote. Okay, last year I called for statewide ban. Okay, they quote him, what he wrote in his statement, which is good. They actually just quote it. But then they follow that up with transgender youth's access to gender-affirming care, medically necessary, evidence-based care that uses multidisciplinary approach to help a person align emotional and biological attributes to match the gender by which they want to be known rather than the one they were designated at birth has become a flashpoint in red states across the country. Listen to that language. Listen to that language they use. Medically necessary. Really? I'm going to guess that you couldn't. No, it's not. These are absolutely. These are not medically necessary. The life of the child is not. Medically necessary would mean that the life of the child is in danger, which is not. Evidence-based. No. What evidence? Not studies, not because even the World Professional Association of Transgender Health says there's not enough data to even say that whether these are safe in long-term, any long-term studies. Not a single long-term study. Other than ideation of self-endings, which 8 to 10 years down the road, the rate of self-endings is the same as pre-op people. And that uses a multidisciplinary approach. Okay, tell me which state actually uses a multidisciplinary approach. I have a great video I saw of an interview of a clinic, a whistleblower at one of these gender clinics that are popping up all over the country. The multidisciplinary approach, you mean after one meeting with a school counselor sent to a gender clinic, one meeting at the gender clinic, put on puberty blockers, sometimes they're hormones, in 1 to 3 meetings. When it's recommended, even by the professional associations that do this, that make the recommendations, that have the so-called standards of care, recommend 6 to 12 months of counseling before you do anything. It's amazing. They don't follow the standard bearers of this type of procedure. Holy shit. Then they help a person align emotional and biological attributes. What? To match the gender by which they want to be known. Okay, notice that they don't say that you have an empirical reason why they would be a different gender. But what? Well, they want to be known this way, so we should do medicalization permanent for the rest of their lives at 13 or 14 or 15 years old, irreversible damage to the body that you can't take it back once you start. Okay? You stunt your growth, even the puberty blockers. Oh, they're reversible. You stunt their growth once, it doesn't come back. It doesn't just go right back to where it started and complete itself, because your body, your natural functions of your body know when that's supposed to start and end. So if you stop it and then you go to here, it doesn't mean that this is going to go that same distance once you get off of it. No, your body just stops right there anyway, and you don't develop fully if you change your mind. Holy shit. Though the care is highly individualized, some children and parents may decide to use reversible puberty suppression therapy. False. There is no such thing as reversible puberty suppression therapy. Doesn't exist. It's a complete lie, and they know it now. They know it now. They've done the studies in other countries that have been doing this for much longer than they've been doing it here in the United States. They've stopped doing it because they know it's not reversible. This part of the process may also include hormone therapy that can lead to gender-affirming physical change. So yeah, they start growing things that weren't normally grow on them. But guess what? The only way you can maintain that is to stay on them for the rest of your life. Do you think a 15-year-old understands the rest of your life? Good God, these people. Surgical interventions, however, are not typically done on children, and many healthcare providers do not offer them to minors. Really now? Because that was the little blow up in Boston, right? The Boston Children's Medical Center, whatever. When they were doing double mastectomies on 15 and 16-year-olds. Are 15 and 16-year-old minors, or are they not? I'm just curious. The idea that they do not offer them to minors, really, because they do that. They do their top surgeries on minors, that's for sure. Holy shit. Anyway, you can read the rest of this. Oh, and then the whole rest of the article is just saying, oh, this governor's doing terrible things. Some Republicans have expressed concern over long-term outcomes of the treatments, but major medical associations say that gender-affirming care is clinically appropriate for children and adults with gender dysphoria, a psychological distress that results when a person's gender identity and sex assigned at birth. Sex is not assigned at birth. It's observed. Do not align according to the American Psychiatric Association. All these medical organizations have all been taken over by the activists and are heavily lobbied by the activists, and all the money comes from the activists. But it's funny how they don't have any studies to back their shit up, where there are studies in other countries where they've been doing it much longer and have gone, wait a minute, this is not working the way we wanted it to. And there's certainly a very big surge of cases due to social contagion. But no, this thing full speed ahead. Well, thank goodness some of these states are saying, hold up, hey, you're not gonna cut the dick off, hold up. Hey. Anyway, hello, Linda Hunter. Hello. All right. In a related note, Chuck Todd had Vivek, what's his name? Vivek Ramaswamy, the presidential candidate, on I believe Meet the Depressed. And Chuck had some pointed questions for Vivek, and Vivek wasn't having it. Let's how much of this is there?
But below the age of 18, I think it's perfectly legitimate to say that we won't allow.
By the way, this is Vivek is making some sense here, so be careful. It might sting a little bit.
Genital mutilation or chemical castration through puberty.
And listen to Chuck's questions, because he's full of shit and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Hello, Logan. What's up?
You're calling it that, but how do you know it's that? Again, how do you know, are you confident that you know that gender is as binary as you're describing it? Are you confident that it isn't a spectrum?
I am.
Do you know this as a scientist?
Well, there's two X chromosomes if you're a woman, an X and a Y. That means you're a man.
There's a lot of scientific research out there. There's a lot of scientific research out there that says gender is a spectrum.
Now wait. Yes. There is scientific writings that gender is a spectrum. And when Chuck says gender, he even considers sex to be on a spectrum, right? And there's a reason why idiots like Chuck Todd believe that. And I'm going to show you in a second.
Chuck, I respectfully disagree. Gender dysphoria for most of our history, all the way through the DSM-5, has been characterized as a mental health disorder, and I don't think it's compassionate to affirm that. I think that's cruelty. When a kid is crying out for help, what they're asking for is, you got to ask the question of what else is going wrong at home? What else is going wrong?
Or what other comorbidities are there? They might be autistic. They might have be sexually abused at home. They might have, you know, reasons that they're told in school that if you're this sex, you can't do this and that and that. They're like, well, maybe I'm the other sex. You know, there's all kinds of reasons that you need to figure out before you even think of doing any kind of intervention, permanent medical interventions. Anyway.
Wrong at school. Let's be compassionate and get to the heart of that, rather than playing this game as though we're actually changing our medical understanding for the last 100 years.
I go back to this. If a parent is dealing with a child that has these, that may have these issues,
here you go to the suicide argument.
Trust me, the last thing they want to do is consider something.
Bullshit. Some of these parents are so excited to be on the right side of history. Oh, we're such great parents. We're going to transition our child. In fact, we might encourage them to be transitioned because we're those good parents that we want to show off, and we will get praise from the teachers, and we will get praise from people in the community, and everyone will think we're the greatest parents in the world. They're narcissists.
Like this. But if that is what they think could help their child pursue happiness, or they're not to kill themselves,
Catch that? Oh. Yeah, you're bringing on the suicide blackmail. Interesting.
Why take away that option? Again,
why not go for counseling? You could do just counseling on children, right? And also maybe, here's an idea. You know what? Why do you maybe allow a kid to be the kid without the medical interventions? Okay, you think you're this, that's fine. We'll allow you to do whatever we need to do that doesn't require medical intervention, because it doesn't, you know, you're perfect in your body the way you are. Why tell a kid? Why do you understand the psychological damage you're doing to a kid who's saying, well, you might be in the wrong body? That's fucked up. Holy shit.
Why shouldn't it be up to the parent?
So
why should it be up to the parent? Really? Okay, now we're going to start recommending lobotomies to all these kids. Okay. Okay. Well, the doctor says they need a lobotomy. That's something we. Oh, wait a minute. We outlawed lobotomies. Well, how could you outlaw the lobotomies when the doctor told me that this would help my kid? No, but no. We should never do gender. Never should outlaw gender affirming lobotomies. You know, they used to think that helped people. Oh, we used to have electric shock therapy for these kids. Well, why? Well, if I'm a parent, the doctor is recommending electric shock therapy. I should just go along with it. Oh, my doctor's advocating bloodletting. Why should we not? If the bloodletting could save my child, why not allow them to do bloodletting? They're not letting them do bloodletting. Why would you outlaw bloodletting if we think it can help your child? Terrible argument. Thanks. Bye.
Of why parents now suddenly feel that way. Let's ask ourselves that, Chuck, because we've created a culture that teaches parents that they're being bigoted or that they're bad people if they don't actually take those steps. So part of what I think is, listen, gender dysphoria, for the rare few people who have suffered it, is a condition of suffering. My question is, why on earth are we going out of our way to create even more of it? And there's no doubt that the cultural movement in this country, even education, is creating more gender dysphoria. If it's a condition of suffering, let's not create more of it. That's what we're doing.
All right. Thank you, Newsbusters, for that piece. So here's, now, I said I'd tell you why Chuck Todd might say this. Here's an article, literally from yesterday, in Scientific American. The title of the article is, Here's Why Human Sex is Not Binary. Now, if you want to hear, this might be the dumbest shit I ever heard. Because I mean, I kind of knew what was coming, but I didn't think this article would be this fucking stupid, okay? Here's why human sex is not binary. Ova don't make a woman and sperm don't make a man. Let's see where they go with this. There are those politicians, pundits, and even a few scientists, oh my gosh, who maintain that whether our bodies make ova or sperm are all we need to know about sex. Is it? Is that what they say? I don't think that's what they say, because there are certainly women who they don't make ovum and men who don't make sperm, but that's not it, is it? That's that's a straw man argument. But here we go. They assert that men are defined by their production of these gamete cells, making them a distinct biological binary pair, and that our legal rights and social possibilities should flow from this. Wait, whoa. Really? Interesting. But they're kind of right in some ways, that our legal rights and social possibilities should flow from this divide. Men are men and women are women. Simple. Last year's Supreme Court confirmation hearings played host to contention when a Republican congressional representative, upset at the nominee's refusal to define a woman, took it on themselves to define the term they came up with, quote, the weaker sex. No, they were making a statement about something. A mother and no tallywhacker. Those were all terms that were said in that thing, but anyway. That human sex rests on a biological binary of making either sperm or ova underlies all these claims. Now, let's remind ourselves, humans are mammals. Listen to where this goes. This is bad science. The production of gametes do not sufficiently describe sex biology in animals. Oh, that's interesting. You're going to go to all animals, not mammals or even humans, but you're going to talk about other animals. Watch this. Nor is it the definition of a woman or a man. Really? For thousands of years it has been. And that's in my dialect of the English language, it kind of does. This is bad science. I said that. Now listen where this goes. The animal kingdom does not limit itself to only one biological binary regarding how a species makes gametes. Scientifically speaking, animals with the capacity to produce ova are generally called female, and sperm producers male. While most animal species fall into two types of gametes produced by two versions of the reproductive tract model, many don't. Some worms produce both. We're not worms! We are not worms, you moron! We are humans, which are in the male, mammal category. And if you're talking about mammals, then it does. Holy shit. What are you talking? Who cares? Some fish start producing one kind and then switch to another. They're not mammals. If you can name a single mammal that does that, please let me know. And they're extra special, but there's no humans that can do that. And some switch back and forth throughout their lives. Name a human that can do that. There are even lizards that have done away with one type altogether. Great! We're not lizards. Among our fellow mammals, which are less freewheeling because of the two constraints of lactation and live birth, those are also parts of the equation that we talk about when we determine between male and women. But anyway, weird. There are varied connections between gametes and body fat, body size, muscles, metabolism, brain functions, and much more. Oh my God. While sperm and ova matter, they're not the entirety of biology. In humans, they are, though. And don't tell us all we need to know about sex, especially human sex. Let me be clear. I am not arguing that differences in sex biology do not matter. They do. Nor am I asserting that reproductive physiology is not an important aspect of all animal lives. For example, humans are mammals, and the specifics of gestation and lactation require bodily differences that shape human physiology, societies, and experiences. You just argue it against your own argument. But even so, most bodily systems overlap extensively across large ova and small sperm gamete producers, and the patterns of physiology and behavior in relation to birth and care of offspring are not universal across species. Right. We're not talking about the other species. We're not saying it's universal. This is a dumb fucking argument. For example, in many mammal species, overproducers do most of the infant care, but in some species, sperm producers do. No one's talking about behaviors. Holy shit. And in very few species, they even lactate. Okay, so we're talking about humans. In others, there's substantial investment by both sexes. Yeah, like humans. We're not asking what behaviors or what habits. We're talking about, oh my God. The bottom line is that while animal gametes can be described as binary of two distinct kinds, the physiological systems, behaviors, and individuals that produce them are not. No one says they are. This reality of sex biology is well summarized by a group of biologists who recently wrote, I wonder if they're activists. Reliance on strict binary categories of sex fails to accurately capture the diverse and nuanced nature of sex. Fuck me. This is activism in science. We know that humans exhibit a range of biological and behavioral patterns related to sex biology that overlap, and we're not talking about behavior. We're talking about physiology. Holy shit, producing over a sperm does not tell us everything, or even most things, biologically or socially about an individual's childcare capacity. No one's claiming that. Homemaking tendencies, no one's claiming that. Sexual attractions, no one's claiming that. Interest in literature, no one's claiming that. Engineering and math capabilities or tendencies towards gossip, violence, compassion, a sense of identity, or love of, or competence for sports. That doesn't change the physiology. Gametes and gamete production physiology by themselves are only part of the entirety of human lives. Right. Whether I play a banjo or not has nothing to do with whether or not I have a dick. Plentiful data and analyses support the assertion that sex is very complex in humans and that binary is simplistic explanations for human sex biology are either wholly incorrect or substantially incomplete. Really? Wholly, completely, not, there's nothing correct about it? Nothing? Holy? That's what holy means. Not like holy, holy, holy Lord God of hosts, but holy as in entirely. Really? Really? For humans, sex is dynamic, biological, cultural, and enmeshed in feedback cycles with our environments, ecologies, and multiple physiological and social processes. No. Logan F., what's up? Annalyn. Oh my God. So when someone states that an organism's sex is defined by the type of gamete, sperm, or ova it has as the functioning of producing, in humans, kind of does, and argues that legal and social policy should be rooted in properties of bodies. I see. This is about sports. That's why she said sports up here. They are not really talking about gametes and sex biology. They are arguing for specific political and discriminatory definition of what is natural and right for humans based on a false representation of biology. No, it's a completely accurate representation of biology. Good God, over the past few centuries, this process of misrepresentation of biology was and still used to deny women rights and justify legal and societal misogyny and inequity, to justify slavery, racialization, racism, and due to enforcement multiple forms of discrimination and bias. Today's dishonest ascriptions of what biology is are being deployed to restrict women's bodily autonomy, target LGBTQIA plus individuals broadly, and most recently attack the rights of transsexual and transgender people. And that's really all this article is about. That's all that really that matters in this article. They wait till down here to make this claim. Oh my God. Given what we know about biology across animals, it doesn't matter what it is across animals. We're only talking about humans here. But if you want to get into the similarities between humans and other mammals, sure, let's do that. Fine. Efforts to represent human sex as binary based solely on what gametes one produces are not about biology, but about trying to restrict who counts as a full human in society. Oh my God, no! There's no one claiming that even a person who's gone through all of every trans surgery possible, they're still a human. No one's claiming otherwise. Oh my God. Again, this is Agustin Fuentes, is a professor of anthropology at Princeton University. He's the author of Why We Believe Evolution and the Human Way of Being and Race, Monogamy, and Other Lies They Told You, busting myths about human nature. That wasn't even from Gunfox. That was another one. Okay, I'm not going to get to anything else today. So let me do a lightning round. Apparently, there's a poll in Georgia saying that Ron DeSantis would fare better than Trump against Biden in that particular state. Interesting. Probably same in Florida. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see what goes on in the primaries. A Democratic senator who attacked conservative justice's wife's activism, as in Clarence Thomas, pushed legislation related to his own wife's work. Senator Whitehouse, Democratic Rhode Island, who belongs to an all-white club. Democratic Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse has been a vocal critic of Justice Clarence Thomas's wife's conservative consulting work, but his wife, Sandra Whitehouse, has worked since 2008 as a consultant and senior policy advisor for Ocean Conservancy, while the senator has introduced at least 24 bills related to oceans. Interesting. Unlike the executive branch and the judiciary, Congress is not subject to any conflict of interest law regarding their work. Mark Paoletta, a Cher Jaffe law firm partner, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. So they just don't have any restrictions on what they can do, even if they do some insider trading, which we know they do. Also in Washington, apparently, there's a good article on the anatomy of a Washington Post smear campaign. So Judge Matthew Kaczmarek, I don't know how you say it. The Washington Post claimed that he violated legal ethics on April 15th, 1 week after Matthew Kaczmarek suspended the approval of abortion pill mifepristone. The Washington Post published what it framed as a scandalous story about the Texas judge. When he got word of his impending nomination in April 2017, the Post claimed Kaczmarek, I keep saying his name wrong, then the deputy general counsel of the religious freedom group First Liberty Institute, removed his name from an article he had allegedly drafted for the Texas Review of Law and Politics, substituting the names of two of his colleagues for his own byline. The switcheroo meant Kaczmarek did not have to list the article, which concerned religious conscience exemptions for abortion and transgender surgeries, on his Senate Judiciary questionnaire. The revelations raised questions about whether Kaczmarek was seeking to duck scrutiny of his views on hot-button issues, the story said, and prompted calls from Democratic lawmakers for an investigation. So they basically made up this story when, in reality, it proved he's not guilty of anything. Let's put it that way. You can read that article in whatever this is. This is theinquirer.com, not the National Enquirer, but I think the Philadelphia Inquirer. The president of Chief Executive Officer of Thomas Jefferson University said he was disappointed in President Mark Kaczynski's careless use of his Twitter account Okay, now, guess what the offense is here. I'm not going to make you guess. I'm going to just tell you what it is and tell you why this is also a smear. So apparently his account in which he liked tweets that questioned the science of COVID-19 vaccines and called gender reassignment surgery child mutilation. At this level, he is held to a higher standard and should have known better. Joseph G. Chacchione wrote in a message Sunday to Jefferson faculty, employee, and students. Chikansky is a Yale-educated molecular immunologist and academic leader who was elevated from provost to president July 1st and has worked at Jefferson for 16 years. He reports to Chacchione, who oversees the entire Jefferson enterprise, including the health system, which has a separate president. So he's getting scolded for agreeing that perhaps the science of COVID-19 vaccines wasn't all that great and gender reassignment surgery is child mutilation. So, you know he's in trouble, right? That article's there in the Washington Free Beacon. In court, Hunter Biden cries poor to reduce child support payments. So he's in court because he's paying child support for the kid he made with the hooker, exotic dancer, whatever the hell she was, down in Arkansas, right? And so he's claiming that he just is so poor, doesn't have any money. But they keep finding that he has assets that he has been claiming in court documents. So he's down there. Apparently he's paying $20,000 per month in child support, which I think is ridiculous anyway. I'm sorry. It's child support, not lifestyle support. But over the past few years, he's paid at least $750,000 in child support, which is ridiculous. But the idea that he's claiming poverty so that he doesn't have, so he can pay less, is kind of another whole role. You can read that in the Washington Free Beacon. On This Is CNN, apparently, this pissed everybody off. No, it pissed the usual suspects off. A lot of people are mad because Trump is going to appear at a CNN town hall in New Hampshire. Former President Donald Trump will participate in a CNN presidential town hall next week in New Hampshire. The New York network announced on Monday. CNN This Morning anchor Caitlin Collins will moderate the event at San Anselm College, which will air at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on May 10th and will feature the former president taking questions from New Hampshire Republicans and undeclared voters who plan to vote in the 2024 presidential primary. Now, this has people losing their damn minds. They are so mad. The Media Matters was out there and all the paid shills on Twitter were all bitching about it. Except for, now, interesting enough, you know who didn't think this was awful and just a terrible, bad idea? None other than one of the Krasenstein brothers, who wrote, basically, look, get it. We don't like him, but he's the leading candidate for the president nomination by Republicans. And he said he can do town halls and CNN. Don't get off of CNN's ass. Now, if no one asks him any really hard questions about his other, whatever shit he does, then that's their fault. But the idea that he shouldn't do it when he's the leading candidate for the Republican Party, I was shocked, first of all, that Brian Krasenstein was saying it, or maybe it was Ed. It was one of the dipshits. But I was like, holy shit, couldn't believe it. Hello, hey, Blink's in the house. What's up? Gulf City, DC 182. All right, so that's that. I'm really out of time. Now this one's pisses me off. So this is a guy, a father. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but he's basically abused a 7-year-old daughter for what was a trans porn company, and so he's going to prison, or he's in prison. I'll read the first article. I'll read the first paragraph. I'll put it on the screen. I just took it off there for a second. A trans-identified male, who basically he's claiming to be a female, who used his own young daughter to create a sadistic child sexual exploitation material, has now been classified as female by the New Jersey Department of Corrections. So they're going to move this sexual exploitive MFer to a female prison. I'm not going to tell any more than that. That is the story. The article's here. Be prepared to be pissed off. Glenn Youngkin as Glenn Youngkin has saved himself humiliation and scorn, saying he will not run in a presidential campaign this year. He's the governor of Virginia. It was for the first time a one-word answer to the question all political pundits ask about Governor Glenn Youngkin. Is he going to run for president? No. Okay. Boy, I was just worried because he would have made the race so incredibly competitive. Whatever. CBS News poll now on how the 2024 GOP presidential primary race could be Donald Trump versus Trump fatigue. Anyone here agree with that? The GOP primaries will be Trump versus Trump fatigue. That's probably accurate. There's plenty of people who have voracious Trump fatigue, and then there's people who still love President Trump like the first time he came down the escalator. So there you go. And in fact, there's a lot of people who like Trump, like after the 4 years, like I did. I thought, well, that was a much better choice than Joseph Rahim, Mr. Sundowner Biden. So anyway, here's one. Bud Light sales continue to plummet after transgender marketing controversy. Their sales are down 26% from before the campaign. Oh boy, that's not good. That's a significant dent when you're the number one beer in the world. Just saying, 26%. So Anheuser-Busch has got to figure that out. An Outkick, again, this is another story about Bud Light sales getting worse by the week as Miller and Coors take off. Not that they're any better. I mean, I don't drink any of that shit. So there you go. Media Matters has a little video of Tucker Carlson slamming Fox Nation, the Fox Nation website, the pay for whatever service, in a behind the scenes video. Now, it's interesting that this got leaked to Media Matters, but I listened to this clip going, yeah, okay. So he has an opinion about it and has some interesting reasons for the opinion about it. Okay. And that was it. I was like, is this a big deal that he thinks the Fox Nation was a little bit too much driver and content that nobody sees? I don't know. It reminds me of CNN Plus. I guess I don't pay attention to Fox Nation, but they think it's a huge scoop. All right. And if you want to see some of the fashions from the Met Gala, apparently Variety has put a bunch of photos of that. I don't know if anyone cares. Brittany Griner was there with her wife, though, and she made a statement. And there was a weird entrance by, who was it? Who's the Rihanna was wearing this, like, she looked like like a pile of whipped cream. She was just this flowing, big, giant, white, puffy thing all over herself. And anyway, whatever. Who cares? The military is tracking another mysterious balloon. This one is interesting. The U.S. military is tracking a mysterious balloon that flew over American soil, but it's not clear what it is or whom it belongs to, according to 3 U.S. officials. Now, here's the thing. You know that balloon they caught, that I think it was the second or third balloon that they took down, the one over Washington, when it was just some hobbyists who try to fly balloons around the world, that they had lost their balloon about the same place where that balloon was taken down. I'm curious, could this just be another hobbyist balloon? If they don't know what it is and they say there's no threat, I'm guessing it might be a hobbyist balloon. In the New York Post, Anthony Blinken swore he never emailed Hunter Biden despite the laptop proof. So now that story just gets thicker and thicker. You can read about that in the New York Post. In the New York Times, Vice, the media company, seems to be headed for bankruptcy. The once valued at $5.7 billion with a B, has been struggling to find a buyer. Boy, oh boy, I am so sad. In Reason, there's an article about how an internet mob ruined a UVA student's life. So this is a gal who was driving near a Black Lives Matter protest, and her car got surrounded, and she was crying, and there's a video of her, and they said that this video that she threatened to run them over. And so one of the main people in this event who was harassing her, has gone on to bigger and better things, while this girl has was removed from school, lost 2 years for schooling, and her dream of going to law school has been killed, and basically because the internet mob believed that she said this, and so there's a whole story in that I'm not going to get into, and finally, oh no, what is a feminine penis? Okay, never mind. That if you see that at the end of the show, that may well be that might be a hoax posting. So it's there, but I'm not going to talk about it. It was something about 98% of straight men refuse to perform oral sex on a feminine penis due to their bigotry and hatred of trans women. I don't think that's real, but we'll find out later. There's some people who think that may be a hoax. So we'll leave it at that. Guys, I got to go. So I want to thank you today for joining me on the Morning Night Live. You know when I'm here, usually in the morning, sometime around 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, sometimes a little later, but usually around that time. You'll get notifications and watch. Oh, join my locals feed. That'll tell you when I'm actually going to be here. And I think that's all, guys. So, hey, thank you so much. Hit the like button, share the stream, do all that stuff. Sponsor the show, Dawg Knight Live. Gunfox61 is the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Everyone have a wonderful day. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.